Kakbhushundi arrived under the banyan tree and closed his eyes. He was going to begin the third canto called Aranyakand. Aranya means forest or jungle, and it represents a new geographical location where Shri Ram moved and where he played out some of his most extraordinary leelas. Then, opening his eyes, Kakbhushundi began the story. Shri Ram lived at Chitrakoot for about 10 years. Over the years, the number of visitors from Ayodhya steadily increased, and their presence was disturbing for the Munis and the Rishis living in the forest. So Shri Ram decided to move further south in the dense Dandaka forest. There, he settled down in a place called Panchavati, near the bank of river Godavari, near the modern Nasik. Then Kakbhushundi looked at his audience and said, "Do you know what Panchavati means?" "Has it got something to do with the number 5?" hooted the wise owl. "Yes," said Kakbhushundi. "Panchavati is a place where there are 5 kinds of trees: the banyan, the peepal, the bale, the amla, and the ashoka trees. Such a gathering of trees, a collection of trees, is called Panchavati. And in such an auspicious place, Shri Ram and Lakshman built their huts from branches and leaves." "Now, that is the external Panchavati," said Kakbhushundi. "But there is such a thing as an inner Panchavati as well. And do you know what that is?" There were trills and shrieks of delight, and the littlest parrot kept bobbing up and down and saying, "Tell, tell," he was so excited. The inner Panchavati is something which human beings must cultivate. Panchavati is the symbol of faith, and there must be 5 kinds of faith, explained Kakbhushundi. The first is faith in the existence of Bhagwan. Second, faith in the Vedas or the Shruti as the valid means of knowing Bhagwan. Then, faith in the Guru who reveals the knowledge of the Vedas to us. Fourth, faith in oneself that one can gain this knowledge. And last of all is faith in the sadhana or spiritual practice that the Guru advises us to follow. Then anyone with these 5 kinds of faith can have a Panchavati in their hearts. The birds all seemed to be lost in contemplation. They were wondering whether they had any of these 5 kinds of faith. But Kakbhushundi hastened to reassure them. "As far as we are concerned," he said, "all we need to do is to love these stories. Bhagwan doesn't ask anything else of us. And as you can see, how much change has come about in our minds and hearts simply by listening to the story." There were flutters of feathers in joyous agreement. Then, coming back to the story, Kakbhushundi said that in that forest, Dandaka forest, there were many Rakshasas. One of them was Shurpanakha. She was the sister of Ravana, king of Lanka. And the name Shurpanakha literally means someone whose nails are like a winnowing basket. Shurpanakha would wander all over the forest, terrorizing everyone, and nobody dared protest or complain because her 3 brothers, Khara, Dushan, and Trishira, with their army of 14,000 Rakshasas, were based in this very forest. One day, while she was wandering about in the forest, Shurpanakha came upon Shri Ram, Sita Devi, and Lakshmana. Seeing these two handsome young men, she was completely enamored by them. Using her illusory powers, she assumed the form of a very beautiful young maiden and approached Shri Ram with a very suggestive smile. Shri Ram pointed out Sita Devi, indicating that he was already married, and he told her to go to Lakshman, who was alone. So she went to Lakshman, and Lakshman said he was only a sevak, and anybody who lived with him would also have to play the role of a sevika or servant. That, of course, was not something that appealed to Shurpanakha, so back she went to Shri Ram. Shri Ram once again sent her to Lakshman, and at that Shurpanakha got so angry that her terrifying form manifested. Then Shri Ram asked Lakshman to shoot an arrow, and with the arrow, Lakshman sliced off her ears and cut off her nose. Crying with shock and with pain, Shurpanakha ran off. It was as if Shri Ram was giving a challenge to Ravana, because he knew that Shurpanakha was not going to take this lying down, and news of this assault on her would reach Ravana sooner than later. Shurpanakha went crying to her brothers, who were horrified to see her disfigured face. She told them what had happened, and they instantly prepared to go and attack the perpetrators of this heinous crime. Khara, Dushan, Trishira, and that entire army went hurtling. They were like black mountains of coals flying through the air, shouting and threatening. When Shri Ram saw them arriving from a distance, he asked Lakshman to take Sita away and keep her safe in a cave, and that he would face this onslaught alone. As soon as Khara and Dushan beheld Shri Ram, they were completely mesmerized. They had never seen such resplendence, and they just did not feel like attacking him at all. This beauty was something they had never known. So they sent a message to Shri Ram saying that they did not wish to kill him. If he simply handed over the woman who was with him, they would go away peacefully. In response, Shri Ram twanged his bow called Kodanda, and the sound of that bow was so terrifying that everyone in the Rakshas army trembled. And Shri Ram told Khara and Dushan that he was not afraid of them and their entire army. He and his brother were here to destroy the Rakshasa lineages and to protect the Munis living in the forest. As soon as he said that, a volley of arrows started against him. All the arrows were neutralized mid-air by Shri Ram. The Rakshasas tried using all kinds of ammunition and endless ammunition, but each time everything was neutralized by Shri Ram. Then Shri Ram did something very interesting. Every Rakshas suddenly started seeing Shri Ram in the person next to him. And so the Rakshasas began killing each other, shouting Ram, Ram, killing each other, till finally they were all dead. Kakbhushundi said, remember, it is said that if one thinks of Shri Ram and utters his name with one's last breath, moksha is guaranteed. Here the Rakshasas were seeing Shri Ram, they were taking his name, and they all attained liberation. Just look at the compassion of Shri Ram. He killed them, but he gave them all liberation. As soon as the Rakshasa army was destroyed, the Devtas, the Munis, the forest dwellers all burst into hymns of praise. The birds were also so delighted they stomped their feet and fluttered their feathers, screeching, clucking, and trilling with joy. But night was descending, and nothing goes on forever. Story sessions, too, come to an end. So, bowing down with great reverence to Kakbhushundi, the birds flew off to perch for the night, knowing that the next day would bring yet another story.